Hola, hola, hola. Para este video, vamos a hablar sobre el futuro, the future. Dun, 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 dun. Okay, so in regards to the future tense, you can use it a few different ways, and you actually already know one way to express the future, and that's this wonderful formula right here. The verb ir, which means to go, a plus infinitive. Okay, so let's look at that a little bit more in detail. You do already know how to do this, but I'm just briefly reminding you because there are multiple ways you can use the future tense, this being one of them. Again, the formula ir plus a plus infinitive. Ir, if you remember, means to go, and its conjugations are voy in the present tense, vas, va, vamos, and van. Okay, so ir conjugates to voy, vas, va, vamos, van. Or again, you can pronounce the V like a B if you want. Voy, vas, va, vamos, van. That's what I do. Again, meaning I go, you go, he or she goes, we go, and they go. Okay? So if you wanted to express something you're going to do in the future, you can use this formula. Ir plus a plus infinitive. You already know this. This is just a reminder, okay? So for example, este sábado voy a comer muchas hamburguesas. This Saturday, I am going to eat, infinitive, muchas hamburguesas. So this Saturday, I am going to eat a lot of hamburgers or many hamburgers. So it's pretty simple. You just take the verb ir, add a after it, and then take any verb you want and keep it in the infinitive. I am going to eat. I am going to talk. I am going to sing, etc., etc. Again, so there's no confusion. You already know how to do this. I'm just reminding you. What I really want to focus on in this video is this. The other way that you can produce the future tense. And it's really simple. All you have to do is add the following endings to the infinitive of most verbs. Of course, there are a few irregulars. We'll learn that in a later video. Here are your endings right here. Just like we've learned present tense, imperfect, preterite, and all the tenses we've learned up until this point, there's always endings that you add to a verb, right? Future tense is no different other than, and this is really nice, instead of you having to drop the ending off of an AR, ER, or IR verb, you just simply add endings. Isn't that great? So your endings are as, a, amos, on. Note to self. These are the same endings for AR, ER, and IR verbs. How beautiful is that? The future tense is just so lovely. So let's look at an example. Okay, let's conjugate the three verbs comer, hablar, and ir in the future tense. That way you can see it. Again, one's an ER verb, one's an AR, and one's an IR. It doesn't matter in the future tense because they're all going to come out to have the same endings. Note to self before we begin this that all three have the same endings. And all forms have a written accent mark except for the nosotros form. Okay? So let's look at comer first. Comeré, I will eat. So again, where we normally would drop the ER, right, whenever we're conjugating, and then we add the appropriate ending, the future tense tells us, guess what? We don't have to drop it. Just add the ending. That's easy. So comer, that's your ending. Comerás, comerá, comeremos, comerán. Look how beautiful that is. So I will eat, you will eat, he or she will eat, we will eat, and they will eat. And again, note to self, all of the endings, the a, the as, the a, and the on, have accent marks. Nosotros is the only one that does not. So keep that, remember that whenever you're conjugating these verbs, okay? All right, again, that's an ER verb. Let's look at an AR verb. Guess what? No different. It's got the same ending. Woohoo! And again, we're not dropping the AR. We're keeping it. Hablaré, hablarás, hablará, hablaremos, hablarán. I will talk, you will talk, he or she will talk, we will talk, and they will talk. Again, notice it is the exact same endings as we just did for an ER verb. Isn't that marvelous? And, of course, we didn't have to drop the AR, we kept it. Let's look at ir. Iré, irás, irá, iremos, irán. Again, we didn't drop anything. It doesn't change. We just add the endings. As, a, hemos, an. And again, even though this is an IR verb, it still has the same endings as the AR and the ER verb. Isn't this fabulous? So let's look at some ejemplos. That way you can see it in some oraciones. Mañana comenzaremos el trabajo. Tomorrow we will begin work. Okay? To begin or to start is the verb comenzar. And all we have to do to put it in the future tense is add hemos for we will begin. What about this one? El futuro será mejor. The future will be better. Remember the verb to be is ser? Ser means to be, and this verb is ms, yeah, remember? So since ser means to be, we don't drop anything, we just add the ending. Será. It will be better. Again, how great. So let's have some práctica, okay? Using this sentence, okay, I want you to choose the correct future tense verb. Is it tú estudias con un amigo, tú estudiaste, or tú estudiarás? How can you say you will study with a friend? Which one of these is in the future tense? Estudiarás. Tú estudiarás con un amigo. You will study with a friend. Let's do another one. Faith, blank, tenis, mañana. Your verb is jugar. Choose the correct form in the future tense in order to say Faith will play tennis tomorrow. You can pause the video if you want to figure it out, or you may already know it right off the bat. Keep in mind, we want Faith will play. She will play tennis tomorrow. Jugará. Faith jugará tenis mañana. Faith will play tennis tomorrow. And I'm sorry, this should have an NY. Faith will play tennis tomorrow. Isn't that great? Okay, so the only thing left to say is that make sure when you are pronouncing this, and we'll go over this more in clase, is that since all of them, except for the nosotros form, have an accent mark, make sure the emphasis when you're pronouncing goes on here. Jugará, right? You're like climbing a mountain. Jugará. Okay? And es todo. So that's all for este video. Gracias por escucharme y, in the great words of NSYNC, bye, bye, bye. Actually, that's Backstreet Boys. Just kidding. Okay, adios. Or wait, was it NSYNC? Oh no. I don't remember. Y'all will know. Okay, adios.